Hey guys, welcome back to Cara's Cakes. Today is Tuesday, March 15th, and I didn't post a video in 2 weeks, but this week I am making cake jars for St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day will be over before you see this, but you can still make cake jars like this. So I took orders for them, and I am selling around, I don't know if it's between 60 and 65 cake jars. So I found these jars at the Dollarama. They're little smaller jars. I think it's 250 milliliter, maybe. I'll insert it here anyways. The serving size is bigger than a cupcake. So I did a trial run of them last week to see how they worked out. And I did vanilla funfetti and double chocolate. So they turned out really good, and I did learn that I'm going to use more cake this time and less buttercream. So I'm on the way to the grocery store now to pick up the few things that I needed. And tomorrow we'll get started with the cake jars. Okay, so first up, I'm gonna make some vanilla cake, and I'm putting that softened butter into my mixer and all of my other ingredients. And while that is mixing up, I start to get the pans ready. I use this non-stick cooking spray. This one's from Costco, and then I add some parchment paper in there as well. So when I take the cakes out of the pans, it's a little bit easier. Here I am mixing in the sprinkles, and I do this, I just eyeball this, and then I add in the batter to the pans, spreading that out, and then I'm gonna pop them in the oven. And I think they were in for about 30 minutes, but every oven is different, so just keep an eye on them. And when you can stick a toothpick in and it comes out clean, then they're all finished. So while those are in the oven, I move on to making some buttercream. This batch is going to be vanilla, and my next batch of buttercream will be chocolate. But I always use the plastic method over, so I can just beat all of the icing sugar in at once. I color it green, and I'm gonna pop those into piping bags and get them ready for cake jar assembly. Alright, so the vanilla cakes are all finished. I'm popping them out onto the cooling racks and flipping them over so they're right side up. Let them cool for a little bit, and then I move on to making the chocolate cake now that the pans are free. Popping the chocolate cake into the oven, and then I move on. You can see I have everything ready for the vanilla cake jars. Now that the vanilla cakes are cooled, I'm using this cookie cutter to cut little circles out that will fit in the mason jars perfectly. And I do that with all of the cake that's here, cutting it up. And then I do end up having to break them in half to get them into the jar because the mouth of the jar is smaller than the rest. But here I am just doing a practice run. I didn't end up putting the buttercream in the bottom like that. I started off with cake because I didn't want there to be too much buttercream. So here you can see that I'm putting the first layer of vanilla into all of the jars. I did end up having to break the cake in half and then putting it in. Putting a layer of buttercream in there, and then I'm going to follow that with sprinkles, and after that I'm putting chunks of golden Oreos in there as well. Last time I did the test run, my mom said we needed more cookies, so I added more cookie this time. Here I am going in with another layer of cake, so popping the next layer of cake on, and then I do top it off with a little bit more buttercream, sprinkles, and then Oreos as well. And then once they're finished, I put the lids on and move on to the chocolate jars. Moving on to the chocolate jars, I'm using the exact same method. The chocolate cake is a little bit more sticky, so it took me longer to do the chocolate jars than the vanilla because I had to keep washing my hands in between. But I'm putting the first layer of chocolate cake down, and then I put a dollop of chocolate buttercream, adding some chocolate chips and chocolate curls. I forgot to film, but you can see that I put some chocolate ganache on the top there, and then I did another layer of chocolate cake, making sure to push down because there would be space if I didn't push them down. And then I top it off with a little bit more chocolate icing and chocolate chips and chocolate curls. Okay, so that's all of the cake jars finished. I think I made around 63 of them to sell. I'm just tying a green ribbon on here because I sold them for St. Patrick's Day. And here they are all finished and ready to go. And I did bag them up individually for all of the pickups that I had. You can see here I have all the bags there. And here is a close-up shot of the vanilla cake jars. And then the chocolate cake jars as well. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a big thumbs up. Scroll down to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday.